Compartment has turned on the seatbelt light. Please take your seats and fasten your seatbelts. Thank you.
What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to look at the DJI Mini 2. I purchased one of these 2 weeks ago. I've sent it out on my first flight and all in all I'm pretty surprised, but I got a few things to share with you, some things that I did wrong. Stick around for this video if you're new to drone flying or have just purchased one of these and you want to get the best footage, you want to try to master how to use the joysticks and come along with this mission with me, then you're in the right place. Let's get straight into today's video. What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. If you've never been here before, my name is Denim and I normally get a joke like just like jeans or you're that jeans guys. Today I wanted to look at this drone, right? I think that this might be my favorite tech purchase that I've ever made. Today's video, I want to really break down a couple of things I learned from my first flight. If you haven't seen that video, I posted it a couple of days ago. I took this drone over a little lake not far from my place, and look, the video quality was quite bad. Again, I'm still trying to learn a lot of this stuff. It's not easy with trying to get all this stuff together, trying to figure out how to be creative and shoot the best footage. It's not easy. It comes with practice, it comes with time, and I'm just gonna have to learn the hard way. So don't hate on me for the quality of that video. I apologize if it's tough to watch. I hope this is a little better. I've done a little bit more with setting up the right lighting and making sure that my audio comes through clear. So I don't even know what I'm about to say next. So let's get straight into it. I have the DJI Fly More combo. It comes in this compact bag, which is really cool. All the accessories that you get with this Fly More combo is in that bag, but I've taken them out for you to see. It comes with this charging hub. It's a 3-bay charging hub. Each of these batteries gives you about 30 minutes of flight time, as long as you're not going crazy on sports mode and going absolutely like ham on the controls and the video quality. Then you probably get close to 30 minutes, which is awesome. I do recommend this battery pack for anyone that is getting a drone, and the reason for that is that you're going to be out there experimenting, trying different things, trying to learn how to fly your drone, and the last thing you want to do is have to bring this thing back or potentially lose it because you forget to check the battery levels. That can happen. I've done it on a previous drone. So to avoid all of that, I went and got the Fly More combo, which gives you this 3 battery pack with it. It also then comes with the remote controller. This remote controller is quite intuitive. It's very simple. The joysticks screw off like this. There's a little storage for them at the bottom, so they just clip in really nicely like that. Pretty neat. DJI has been known for high quality products, and the first impression of this is that it is definitely very high quality for something that we used to consider a toy. This is no longer that. These are, so powerful. What you can do with these just blow my mind. I used to own other drones as I was growing up, and they were definitely toys. So the DJI Tello, it's a miniature drone. Wasn't the greatest thing, but I enjoyed flying it, and it actually gave me a lot of the skills. So if you're someone that's brand new to drones, you're a little bit concerned about getting one of these because they're not cheap, then the DJI Tello might be something you should look at. But if you are someone that is looking to capture really nice footage and you've had your eyes on one of these, then this drone I can't recommend highly enough. Now, the drone itself has this 4K camera up the front. It's got a little protector on it, which you got to make sure that you take off before you actually fly this thing and try to capture video or photos, because As long as that is on there, you won't be able to do that. The propellers fold up and in like that on the bottom, and then on the top they actually just fold back. The battery compartment is on top of the USB-C charging port, as well as the SD card slot. I recommend getting a 128 gig. That's what I've got in terms of an SD card. You will be capturing really high quality video with this if you choose to do so, and 128 gigs will fill up pretty quickly. And if you've used something like a 32 gig, it probably, you won't get too much footage with that. But I'll leave that up to you to make the choice. I went with the 128 gigs. I'll make sure to link all of this stuff in the description below. So the three main mistakes I made were that I obviously did not go and check what resolution I was filming in. Now, my whole thing is that I want to go ahead and film footage that, at a really high quality. And for me to do that, I actually ended up filming in 1080p. Now, what you want to make sure you do is you flick that across to 4K, and then you can kind of go ahead and choose which frames per second option you want to go with. Now, generally, the higher the frame rate, the slower the footage will end up being, and that's kind of how I understand it to be. But generally speaking, I will go ahead and actually film in about 24 or 25 frames per second. Now, you can slow this down in your editing post-production if that's what you want to do. I haven't gone into that much depth just yet, but that was the first thing that I really didn't get right. And making sure that it's in 4K. You can probably get away with 2.7K as well, but you really want to be filming this thing in 4K. The other thing you can also go ahead and change is the exposure value. This will kind of dictate how much light gets into your image, and you can see as I drop the exposure value, my overall image starts to get really dark. So go ahead and play with that based on where you are filming and what kind of conditions you're filming under. You may want to adjust the exposure value. Generally, I think about -1 or -0.7 for cinematic footage is what has been recommended from everything I've learned. But this comes down to the conditions and what you want your image and your final video, to look like. The other thing you also got to make sure you go ahead and check is what kind of footage do you want to capture. So just above the record button, you'll see the film icon there. You'll see you can go ahead and then toggle. Once you click that, you can change it to photo, video, quick shots, and panoramic. So make sure that if you're trying to capture photos and images, that you change that setting while you're in the air, because I made the mistake of trying to capture footage and I was in photo mode, and it's just not going to work properly. So make sure that you go ahead and check that. Now, down the bottom left hand corner, you'll also have a map function. So if you click that map, you can actually see where your drone is. And what you want to kind of try to do is use this map. If you do send your drone out a long way away from you, it's actually quite handy to use. I didn't use this, and there was one point in my footage where I lost track of the drone. I didn't know where it was. Top right hand corner, there's 3 dots, and that's a menu you can get into. So if you click those 3 dots, what you'll be able to see is a whole bunch of things you can configure to the settings that you want them to be. So you've got safety, control, camera, transmission, and the about. We're not really going to worry about the about. Now, I'm not going to mess with too much of the transmission. I don't think that you need to do too much with this, but obviously read the user manual when it comes to the transmission, and make sure that any changes that you're doing, that you know what changes they are. I don't know enough about it, so I'm not going to really talk to them. There's a whole bunch of other stuff here as well around grid lines. So if you put some grid lines on, you'll see the grid lines show up in your actual image, and then you'll be able to sort of direct your drone a little bit more effectively. If you're struggling to keep it centered and get high quality footage, then the grids might be something you use. Also got my SD card there. You can see that I also have. The one that we're going to get to is the safety. Now, this is something I highly recommend that you go ahead and configure to kind of suit what you're comfortable with. Now, you can see the max altitude. I can set this from anywhere between 120 all the way down to 15 meters. Now, I think about 100 meters is probably the max that I'd want this thing to go at until I get more comfortable with it. Now you play this how you wish to, but about 100 meters in the air, that's plenty. But obviously you can take this as far as 500 meters. Now I don't know anyone that's done that. It'll be pretty cool to see that happen one day, but I'm gonna just set that at 100 meters until I'm really comfortable with it. Now the other thing that I recommend that you configure is the max distance. Now you can see here I've got mine set to 2,000 meters. I didn't have this set when I first flew the drone, and it's just something that's going to help keep you out of trouble and kind of control how far your drone goes. So go ahead and toggle that. Now the final one that I really messed up was the auto return to home altitude. This is set at 100 meters by default, and that is great if you are filming, you know, amongst trees or amongst buildings and there's a high clearance that you need to get this drone above those things before it gets to its return to home or its landing position that's locked in its GPS. The mistake I made was when I clicked the return to home button on the remote controller, I only had about 12% battery at that moment, and I thought it was just going to fly back to me. Didn't do that. It went up to 100 meters in the air, then my battery was just dying slowly as I watched it, and I was freaking out, thinking that this is just going to drop out of the sky at that point. But maybe, you know, set that as you wish, but remember, if you do reduce the return to home altitude, that you change that based on where you are actually filming. You can see that, you know, you've got to learn how to use the controller. You've got to have the right settings on the camera. You've got to make sure that you're recording in the right place. And that's only until you then figure out which angles you want to try and capture at what frame rate and what exposure. So there's so much that goes into this. And to be honest with you, that's what excites me. I really love being creative, and I love telling stories through my creativeness. So the drone is just going to take that to another level. And I hope that you'll subscribe to the channel so that you will get a view of the different adventures that I'll take this thing on. I can't wait to actually master how to fly this thing properly and hopefully be able to capture some cinematic footage that I could share with everyone. That's all I got for you today. I hope you learned something. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe as I mentioned to you, smash the bell notification, and I hope to see you on my next video. Take care.